Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've popped onto the live, our Thursday evening live, my name's Heather. I'm the Songbird Stamper. I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Gosh, can't get my words out this evening. So I'm I think it's our third or fourth regular Thursday YouTube live, and oh my word, are they coming around quickly? Must admit, I hadn't realised how quickly the weeks go until you start doing something regularly on a certain day, because my life isn't very regular, being a shift worker. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these, so thanks very much for joining me. If you're watching on the replay, thank you and welcome. And I'm going to make a couple of cards with you this evening. Ah, yes, Katie, stupid adverts. That's a little way I make money through my channel. So thank you for watching the adverts, because it gives me a couple of pennies in my pocket to say thank you very much for the work that I do for putting these videos together. Hey, Anne-Marie, how you doing? All right? Are you having a nice evening? So I thought we'd have a bit of a play this evening, totally inspired by my upline, Emma Goddard, and a card I made at her catalogue launch party. And I said at the time that I would probably make something quite similar. So we're going to be using the watercolour pencils. Oh, upside down. Watercolour pencils, the blender pen, and this gorgeous, gorgeous designer series paper. Stunning, isn't it? Oh, you've had your nails done. Oh, that's a bit eye-boggling, that one, isn't it? Having a tea. Oh, well, you haven't missed anything, Katie. Honestly, I was just waffling, to be honest. So, hello, Lisa. How you doing? All right. Yeah, I popped on it and was just talking. So this is the paper that we're going to use. I'm going to just use this sheet. Isn't it gorgeous? But I'm going to show you all the paper. Ah, good. You're doing okay. It's been a lovely day here today. Isn't that nice as well, the stripy? Then we've got, that's gorgeous. That's going to be great for using for man cards. It's going to be good. I've got that coming up. I'm using this one in a card and cuppa that I'm doing in Emsworth next Friday. Next Friday is card and a cuppa from 10:30 until 12:30 in Emsworth. This one with the buds, it's quite cool, isn't it? I don't know if I'd sit there and fussy cut all of those out, but you know. What else have we got? We've got, oh, this one's pretty. I've been chopping into this one. Yeah, I do like this one with the little flowers and the dotty. This one's pretty as well. Love those leaves. They'd look fab coloured in and cut out, or just as a background. You could use your blending brushes to put ink down on this one as well. That would be quite cool. And then the flowers. And this one. Obviously, you get 2 sheets of each of these in the pack, called Perfectly Penciled. Perfectly Penciled designer series paper. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty, really pretty, that one, isn't it? That would make a fab background. And then, oh, that's more of that one. So we've already seen that one. Oh, yeah. Loose track. Which is the other one? There must be one more, unless we've seen 6. Oh, this one. Hello, Vince. Vince is watching as well because we're up on the big screen. I don't blame you. Get it on the telly. Hopefully the quality's okay. And that's the background of that one. That would look pretty with some white die cuts. There's some die cuts like this in the like the meadow dies or the honeybee home dies. They're quite nice. So those are the papers, and we're going to use this one. So I think I've already got some cuts, but I've probably buried it all under all this lot now. Okay. So when you get these kind of paper, you can see these big images, can't you? So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 whole images, and you kind of go, well, what am I going to do if I was to cut these out and use them? What am I going to do with the edge pieces? So I want to show you how to use the edge pieces on a card. So I'm looking at this piece here, and I know this bit's just cut off down the bottom, but we're going to kind of manipulate this because it's quite a pencil-y line drawing. We can use that in to our advantage. So I've got a couple of colours. We're going to have Real Red, which is in this set. So there's 2 sets of watercolour pencils. And we're going to use the Real Red, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green and Balmy Blue as well. There we go. So we've got four colours. Just pop you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the Real Red on these big flowers. And one of the tips with your watercolour pencils is where you want it darker, just lay down more colour, so right in the centre. And where you want it lighter, just pop less colour. And I will often go out to just no colour at all, so leaving it white. And this paper is lovely because you've got these darker patches. Can you see the darker patches? That's just where I'm popping more of the colour. It's kind of given us a bit of a hand for the shading already, so you don't need to kind of think where it's going to be, which is great. One of the hardest things when you're learning to colour is the shading. Where do I put the darker colours? So what's everybody been up to today then? You had a nice day? I've had a class this morning, my Happy Hedgehogs class. So thank you for the ladies that came to that one at my house. It was good. Just a couple. It was lovely to spend some quality time. Working, I thought work would be the image. So I thought work would be the answer from Anne-Marie. Always fun to see what happens with the blue in an image like this. With the blue. Oh, the blue pencil. You'll see. Might not be what you expect it to be. Oh, hedgehogs was good, thank you, Katie. Yeah, I've got a month full of hedgehogs at the moment. Actually, we had a class on Monday, which was good. We had a class today. I've got another lady coming around tomorrow, and I've got a Zoom on the 21st, and then I've got another in-person hedgehogs on the 27th. So yeah, crazy hedgehogged out this month, which is fun. And then I'm doing another hedgehogs in June as well, if you believe that. Spent the day with Hayden. Went out to... Oh, lovely, Lisa. Very nice indeed. I hope you had a good time together. It's important, isn't it? Just to take a bit of a breather sometimes and do something nice. Where'd you go? What did you have for lunch? Anywhere nice? Hi, Anita. Nice to see you. Katie's been working, now crocheting a goose while watching us. Wow. So the blender pen, I'm going to get straight into it and I'm going to do section at a time. You can leave it, but I'm going to do all the red to begin with. So I'm just going to take the blender pen. And the nib looks destroyed. It's very, very discoloured. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. But it's all good. It doesn't, as long as you wipe it out on your grid paper, look, and get rid of the colour, it then runs clear. Hey, Louise, just back from Aqua. I used to really enjoy doing aqua aerobics. It's good fun, isn't it? What I love about it is this, everybody kind of does it at their own level. I used to be the one, and I used to go in the back so I didn't annoy everybody, but kind of thrashing around in the water and making a lot of splashes. And then you've got everybody's just doing it at their own pace. It's just nice to get out and do something, isn't it? But look how much of a difference that makes. Went to the local cafe, just moved back to a Brigham. Oh, not a panini. I love a panini. I do love a panini. Ham and cheese or bacon and brie panini. Very nice indeed. I had a bagel for lunch today. So yeah, the blender pen just really, really brings that, smooths it all out, and that means you can use your watercolour pencils kind of without the water on this paper, because you wouldn't necessarily want to use water on a designer series paper because it's quite thin. But this means that you can still use your watercolour pencils, which is fab. Bacon and brie with cranberry. Yes, I always have the cranberry on the side though, Louise, because I don't always like it. Depends how I'm feeling. So I don't want it in my... I'm a bit picky like this with a lot of foods. I don't want them together. I want them separate. And then I can choose whether I have them together or not. Bit odd. I have my peas. If I'm having peas as well, I eat those in a bowl separately because I don't like them mixing with my other food. You know, you've got to be a bit different in life, haven't you? Let's do these ones up here as well in yellow. It's hard to see what's a petal and what's a leaf, but I kind of figure it doesn't really matter. Oh, cheese and red onion panini. That sounds good. You were making me hungry now. I'm not going to bother colouring this one in yet. I might colour him in later. It depends how it arranges it all, but I don't think we're going to use it. And to balance it out, I'm going to do these buds in yellow as well. Now, I'm not putting a lot of yellow on because I don't know if you guys have ever used the watercolour pencils, but the yellow is quite a deep colour. It really doesn't need many. Tuna melt panini. Sounds delicious. Oh, nice to get out and about though, isn't it? Especially if it's sporting a local cafe that's just moved. That's fab. Okay, so we'll just use that blender pen now. I think doing it little bit by little bit, you can see what's what as well, which you can't always see if you're just going straight in, trying to colour it all in one go. I haven't done the centre of those flowers. You can if you want to. I am going to do the centre of these ones just with a little bit of that remaining yellow. Again, you don't need much of the colour. They're quite intense. Get a lot of pigment in these ones, which is fab. What should we do? Should we do a couple of these red and a couple yellow? We'll go wild. I just want to keep that colour kind of balanced, I think. Do 3 red and we'll do this one yellow. And we'll do that one yellow as well, I think. So I've coloured this with blends, this paper, and I've coloured it with the watercolour pencils, and it works fab with both. Blends do work brilliantly on it as well. But the I think you just get a lighter effect with the watercolour pencils. It's not quite so deep and vibrant, and that's the kind of effect I'm going for here. So this is the Granny Apple Green for all of our kind of greenery. Just sticking to the one colour. You could pop a little bit of garden green in there if you wanted to as well to kind of intensify those dark areas. Oh, what should we do? What should we do with the drunken sailor? I won't sing for you. It's funny when you get a song in your head, isn't it? It happens to me at work a lot when someone's just humming a tune or something and I can't quite really realise where it's coming from. And we've got all these little leaves in here as well. I like this because you don't need to be too precise. You're just popping some colour in there. You don't need to be an amazing colourist. I just want a bit of yellow. I've just missed that little bit there, look. Then your green. Yeah, you don't need to be an amazing artist to do this kind of thing. You just chuck some colour on and then use the blender pen to move it around. And it's funny, I hadn't had my watercolour pencils out for months, I'd probably say, until I used them, I say at the catalogue launch the other day. And then all of a sudden, I think, oh, I can watercolour this. Kind Like go in stages and cycles, don't we? Right. So I'm going to cut that one out. Watching while ringing people. Ah, Claire's working. But hello. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully you won't get kind of in too much trouble for watching and working at the same time. Again, you don't have to be too precise with your fussy cutting. Because it's quite a pencil drawn image. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller for myself, so I'm not manhandling all this paper. Okay. Do you know, honestly, Louise, it's the same. I've used them quite a lot over the years, but very, very rarely recently. So it's nice to get it back out again and give it a bit of love, isn't it? Might inspire you to get yours out as well. So this one here where I've not cut it, all I'm going to do is cut the line. I'm going to go in round here and then cut that off, and you won't ever notice because it's, like I say, it's quite a sketchy pencil drawing anyway. It's got kind of random lines, so you're not going to notice that that had something coming out. I know, well, that's what the blue's for, Katie, is the little butterfly. So I'm going to colour my butterflies in blue. So that's why I've got my blue pencil. I don't want to give too much away. I've got one sample made, but we'll make 2 cards this evening, I think. Because they're quite quick, actually. Once you've got, if you're not doing any stamping, and we're just doing a little bit of fussy cutting. Hey, Eloise, how are you? Nice to see you today. Lovely to see you today. And now virtually again, twice in one day. So with these spindly bits, again, you don't have to get too close. I know some people dread fussy cutting because they think they have to kind of go into all the little areas, but I'm just leaving those all cut, not cut. And the same up here, I'm not going in too close because I don't want it to end up too fragile. Because I'm a bit clumsy, and believe it or not, and I'll probably rip it off if it's cut too close and if it gets too fragile. Oh, you like my cake? I'm glad. My cakes have gone down well, and I make a lemon cake. I don't know what else to call it. Gluten-free lemon cake, but it's got lemon curd in the middle, which is homemade as well, and lemon buttercream icing with a lemon sponge. Yeah, I'm not a massive lover of cakes because they can be quite dry. Oh, who am I kidding? I love most food, and I do love cake, but sometimes cakes can be quite dry. But these, if I do say so myself, turned out great. I think I've made them 3 times now. Turned out really nicely. We do go in phases with our crafting, don't we, Katie? Yeah, and that's why it's nice to have lots of options. You can be colouring, you can be inking, you can be doing cutting, all sorts. It's just nice to go in phases with it. Yeah, you lose things and forget about them. Absolutely. You might get kicked off for saying that word, Eloise. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind, but I won't repeat it on camera just in case. So there's one that we've got, and what we need to do. I've been sat here all evening and I haven't pre-prepared my card, so bear with me while I get it. So we've got some thick white card. And I'll just go and grab, if you bear with me 2 seconds, the thin white card. Right, so we've got, oh, hey Mary, how you doing? Finally made it. So we've got a thin white card here. I'm going to chop this to 14 by 10. And I want my thick card. Probably pull you back out of it again. Ah, good. I'm going to make a trip down your way at some point and see you guys again. 14.5 by the length, which is 21 centimetres. Scored at 10.5. Cool. So that's our card base. I don't know where my bone folder is, hence my fingernails. And this is what we're going to work on. So we're going to have this something like this. So I want something else down here. So we need to kind of pick another little bit that we've got. This bit might be quite good, just to go down in this corner here. So you're going to use up a lot of your edge pieces this way, which is fab. Because sometimes you just sit there and think, what am I going to do with all of those edge pieces? But there's card designs that we can use. So we've got a little daffodil kind of type flower. So we'll do that in yellow. We'll do a couple of these buds in yellow too. And then a couple in red. Do you get multicoloured flowers like this? Some gardener's going to tell me. Would one plant ever give you red and yellow flowers? I'm not sure. But honestly, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's one of the nice things about crafting is if you want to do it your way, you can do it your way. It doesn't have to be correct. Go in for the green, just a little bit of green on the ends of these flower here as well. And then because you're going in for red now, we'll just make sure we've got all of that solution kind of running through. And then we can fussy cut that one. Dahlias. Dahlias will give you what? 2 different types of flower heads. My dahlias are growing again. I didn't dig them up, which I know they recommend to dig them up. I thought, I'm not doing that. So I chopped them off and buried them under some kind of mulch. And I looked the other day and they're just starting to spring up. So hopefully they'll be okay. Oh, we probably did. We had quite a lot of gardening conversations in my lockdown lives. And no, I didn't. I don't know if I ever really kind of learnt an awful lot. I probably did subconsciously, but there's so much to know about gardening. I know some people know an awful lot. I don't. I know that if it lives, it's a bomb-proof plant. If it dies, then it wasn't meant to be. It's my ethos on gardening. 2 different colours blended in blue. Yeah, I've seen that, but no, I was trying to work out if there's 2 different colours, if it would give you 2 different colours. So I'm just going to chop off, I think, these 2 overlapping buds. I feel a bit mean, but you know, when they've got to go, they've got to go. And then that one can just fit on the bottom like that. And then I'm going to choose a couple of butterflies. Flutter by butterfly. Should we have these 2? They're here. Where was the other one? There was one. Oh, he's a part butterfly though. We don't want him. It's lovely paper just to be able to kind of chop away with and pick bits out of and have a bit of a play. Doesn't need to be perfect. and then pop a little bit of blue. I thought the blue, and we'll use some blue ink in a minute as well, just to give ourselves a bit of a nice background, and that will tie these butterflies in. So I'm just going dark around the outside. I've left my blocks downstairs after class this morning, so when we come to a bit of stamping later, you'll have to excuse me when I quickly run downstairs, but I have got the ink and the blender brush, which is good. So quite faint, this blue, but gorgeous, isn't it? It's come up really nicely. Grid paper gets into a bit of a mess though. Hello, Donna. Sorry that was a bit delayed there. I didn't see your comment. How are you doing this evening? You like it? Oh, that's good. Thank you. It's I come up with this card a couple of days ago, probably about Tuesday, and I thought, oh, well, how am I going to share this with you guys? And then I remembered I had the live tonight, so I thought, oh, perfect. So I might use both of these. I might not. Oh, he is flying that way actually. That's good. I thought they were both the same. Ah, thanks, Anita. Well, honestly, it's not difficult with these watercolor pencils. I just scribbled some pencil on and then smoothed it out with a blending brush. There's been very, very little thought gone into that at all. Not like with my alcohol marker colouring. I do tend to try and get the shading in the right place and blend it properly, but this is so simple. So if you're a bit of a novice to colouring, this is a great way to get started. How do I select the right colours? Well, interestingly enough, these colours were chosen because I looked at my Instagram feed and I saw a lot of blue, and I thought I needed some kind of reds and yellows in there. So I've seen a lot of blue and pink. So that's how this came about, red and yellow. But quite often I'll use the Stampin' Up! Design Series paper because they've got the colours in there. All kind of, and you know they colour match because Stampin' Up! Have used them for different colours. So I've got my balmy blue ink pad, and you can see in the light here better than elsewhere actually. It's getting a bit kind of faded in the middle. It does need a re-ink, but I don't want to for now because I'm doing a lot of blending in the classes. So pick up the ink with your blending brush, just go round and round in circles, and then start off on the grid paper rather. And when you're blending like this and you just want a nice background, you don't want it too deep in colour. You just want a nice kind of light effect. So I don't want it too juicy. I don't want the ink pad too juicy. And when I'm kind of coming, I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of coming out from this corner, out in an arc and round. Yeah, I get a lot of inspiration out of the Stampin' Up! Catalogue for colours and things. You can even look at the card samples that have come up. Right, so I think that's good. And we'll just have a look, see what it looks like when we've got this on. Make sure feel like I've got enough ink. It's just giving it a nice background. Not trying to do too much with it. I'm going to end up having to chop the top of that bud off, but that's okay. Yep, I think I'm happy there. So we'll grab some glue. So again, I'm not going to stick right on top of that bud because I know I'm going to cut it off. You can do, it doesn't matter, but you just probably want to wait until you cut it, otherwise you get glue all over your scissors. Because it's paper, but it's up to you. If you want all the edges stuck down, make sure you go all the way up to the edges. But you might choose to have some of these flapping loose because they're paper. It can be a bit fragile. Oops, stuck to my finger. And then just lining that left hand edge up. Stick that one down. Really makes the kind of pop. It makes the image pop having that background underneath. Stampin' Up social media feeds are good for inspiration. Absolutely, they really are. The Stampin' Up Instagram account got hacked the other week, so if you haven't seen, they've got a new Instagram account, so do head over and follow it. And then this one's just going to pop down there. So we'll chop off that little bud. I just flip it over, use the cardstock as a guide, and then chop that bit off. That can go straight onto our card base. Thank you, Lisa. Comes together nicely, doesn't it? I'm just going to use my scissors there just to crease that a bit further. And honestly, it's not taking long, is it, to do this card? Fairly quick and simple. Nice and subtle. And you could do this with your blends, but it would just be that much more kind of, I'd say, in your face. Certainly the red would. You get a really nice subtle red there. Oh, my pleasure, Katie. Yeah, it's head on over and follow. It's called Stampin' Up Official now. Sadly, it got hacked and held to ransom. So they've said they're not giving in to the ransomers, which is good. And then we can stick our little butterflies on. So he's just coming into land. And we'll pop this one down there. He's just flying away. Doesn't it, Mary? And honestly, you don't need, I think one of the biggest things I see in classes with people when they're using the blending brushes is going too dark with the ink. I know a couple of people sent to me, but it's not got much ink on it. It really doesn't need much ink at all. So we're going in there or further out? I think we'll come a bit further out. So I have got some gems somewhere here. Oh, there's my bone folder too. Hiding under my gems. And I know these are retired, but they're the Rhinestones Basic Waves Basic Jewels, and they're so pretty. I couldn't resist using the lighter blue ones on the card here. But if you've got the normal rhinestones, they would work equally well. Yeah, the blue just grounds it, but gives it a sky feeling. I know exactly what you mean. So I'm just going to go for some of these. And I've taken to popping a lot of gems on. So you have to excuse me while I go a bit gem mad down here. I'm going properly gem mad. Yeah, a bit of bling. Get it on there. Can you come on, camera? There we go. And I will pop a sentiment. I'll probably remove this gem actually, because we'll probably pop a sentiment coming out of here in a minute. But I'll have to go and get my blocks first. So we'll make the other card and then I'll pop downstairs, grab my blocks, and we can do the sentiments at the end, shall we? So you have to hang fire, see what that one looks like. So I'll turn this over just because it looks a bit messy now, although it's going to get messy again. And I'll show you another card layout. So again, just using a piece of thick basic white card, 14.5 by 21, scored in half at 10.5. Got my bone folder, Stampin' Starfish. That's my reward for becoming a qualified team member. Pretty. And we just need another piece of thin. Actually, I've got one cut. See, I was half ready. Now, I've done a little bit of pre-preparation. Can you see where I'm going with this? Oh, so pretty. I mean, that's pretty just in black and white, isn't it? That would be like make a stunning monochrome card. We are going to colour this one in, but I might make one that is monochrome actually as well. Conscious that my head's in shadow. I need to get some better lighting. It's on my to-do list. So the first thing I'm going to do is my blending, just because I'm here. And I feel like doing that bit first. Thank you, Anita. Yep, very pleased. So that was from my lovely upline. Inaugurated into the team. So again, just pick up a little bit of ink. Start off the page. And this time I'm going to kind of come up in an arc like this and an arc like this. I'm conscious that you can't necessarily see it all that well on the camera because I am keeping it nice and light. And I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. I think I might need to re-ink this at some point. I mean, it is quite... thanks, Louise. Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely layout. Both of them are, I think. And so the one I made with Emma was using a whole flower in the centre of the page. And I thought, oh, how are we going to use up these edges then? I'm just making sure those corners are done, coming up to the middle, almost so that the two kind of areas of blue meet in the middle, really. But just leaving enough white space. And the top and bottom are going to be covered anyway. So that's that one. We'll pop that to one side. And I'm going to do it in exactly the same colours. We could change it up, but I'm not going to. Colours are out here. And we'll just go for it, I think. So I might do this one in red. This one as well. This is the big flower that we saw earlier. And then I think we'll do these little flowers here in red. So as you can see, honestly, it's not difficult. I'm just scribbling some colour down into rough approximate areas. We'll do these buds in red. And then we'll go in for our blending brush. Just always scribble it out on the paper first because you don't know if it's still got colour in it. I don't know how lazy I was after the last time I used it. And there's nothing worse than you've got your lovely image, especially when it's fussy cut like this. You've got your lovely image and you want it to be red and you've been using it with a purple ink or something, a blue ink. Lovely. I don't want this grid paper to get messed up now. Got the yellow, just going to go in with some yellow. All the tulips are over now. Mine are. The daffodils are over. I've got a trough of summer flowers, which I planted. Well, they're bulbs and seeds, which I probably planted 2 months ago. And as they've come up, I had no idea. I'm not very good with flowers. As they've come up, I'm like, oh, I think I've planted a few too many. So I'm going to have to water them about 3 times a day, I think. And they might need a bit of feed as well. Because there's a lot of flowers in a tiny little couple of troughs that I've planted. Again, I'm just leaving the centre of those flowers, white, but you could absolutely go in and colour those if you wanted to. Lovely. So now I've just got the green to do on this one. Again, hard to see what's what under here, but these two are just lines for the stems, so I'm not going to colour those in. And I probably ought to sharpen my pencils as well. They're getting a bit blunt. Oh, I know, Katie. I know. People always say that. You have to pinch the flowers out and remove a few, but honestly, I can't. I cannot bring myself to do it. I can't choose who's got to die and who's got to live. I know, it's sad. I just can't. And I know they'd probably all do much better if I did that. I've had my blueberry bush for 5-6 years now, and last year I finally managed to convince myself that he needs to be pruned. That he really would benefit from chopping some stems off. It's hard though. You knew I'd say that. Yeah, I just can't. Russ is exactly the same as well. When we planted some stuff, I was like, we need to thin it out, and he's like, I can't choose who has to die. Huh? Sad, really, isn't it? But they look really good for now. So we'll wait and see. I've got lilies, gladioli, and then just a lot of summer flowers. I did it so that they'd be cutting flowers, so that I don't have to pay out for gorgeous flowers. I'm going to grow my own. That's the plan anyway. Let's see how that goes. So, okay, some exciting news for you. My big Stampin' Up order is coming tomorrow. Friday. Fingers crossed it's coming on Friday. So I might be up for an impromptu Friday night live. Who's up for that? Show you what I've got in my box. There's some awesome stuff coming, and I hope it comes Friday because I've got the weekend off and I'm back to work next week, and I can't wait to craft with it. So if it comes on Friday, you'll all have to keep your fingers crossed and get a gardener. Do you know what? I've thought about it. I really have thought about getting a gardener, but no. And I hand pick all the weeds out in here because I don't want to use weed killer. My dad keeps saying, just get the Roundup down. And I probably will resort to it because I only weeded all of the patio. And we've got quite a big house, quite a big garden. And I only weeded, and it took me about 3 or 4 hours to weed the whole patio, all around the back, all down by the pond. And then I looked out yesterday, and it's all back. I mean, it's all the weeds are back, and I was just so disappointed. It just takes forever. So much gardening. And Russ doesn't do any weeding, bless him. He does do a lot of gardening, like hedge trimming. He does all the manly stuff. Does the trimming of the hedge, and he does mow the lawns. But he won't do the weeding. Bless him. You'd like that, Anita, would you? Yeah, cool. I'll pop on if it arrives on Friday. If it arrives next week, I probably won't because I'll be working long days. Which is sad. White vinegar for really? For patio weeds? Oh, I'll have to Google that one. That would be handy because we do use white vinegar in our cleaning. So we've got a bit of a stash of it. I wonder if you have to dilute it or if you use it neat. I might have to resort to the weed killer. So honestly, you can see this really isn't difficult. I am just kind of throwing colour on here. And can you see, I mean, I don't know if you can see how I've hardly put any yellow down and how vibrant that is. Beautiful. Oh, is it neat vinegar? Oh. Does it stop them coming back? Because that's what I need. I need it to kind of... The problem is when I just pull them up, they just grow straight away again from the root, because you can't really get the roots out from underneath the patio, can you? I did. We've got a picture. I'll show you on my Facebook page. We pulled up some massive weeds the other day. Well, I did, and one of them is as big as me. It's actually as tall as me, and it was growing right in the back behind everything else. I hadn't really noticed it. It's like, oh, steaming them does, as it kills them to the roots. Yeah, that's what you need, isn't it? You need to get them killed all the way to the roots. Especially some of the bigger roots. They're massive, aren't they? So one of the things I've got in my Stampin' Up pre-order, or my main order rather, is herons. We were talking about herons on I'm sure it was on a live the other week, and I do love them. They're gorgeous birds, and I've got a couple of ideas in my head of what I want to make with the heron set, and I thought a lot of you probably won't have seen any demonstrations using it, because it's probably not going to be a particularly like a massively popular one. It might be after I've started using it. I might set a trend. You never know. But yeah, I thought I'd grab that, and I've got a couple of ideas. Whether they'll be for next week's YouTube live, I might use the Hues of Happiness again next week. I might not. You know how I change my mind. So a couple of flutterbys. There we go. Herons are just such gorgeous birds, and they absolutely fascinate me. Again, if we're recounting stuff, I apologise, but they're just massive birds, and yet you just see them like in your garden. My dad used to have one in his garden. I just think that's incredible. So what have we got now? We have got our sheet of prepared and ink blended card. No, there's a heron habitat bundle with dies. It looks cool with the dies as well, and a stamp set. Again, I don't think many people have seen it, so I can't remember whether I had that one at the top or that one. I think it was like that, but it doesn't really matter. One of them at the top, one of them at the bottom. Oh, you can see what's happening. Right, let's stick, I think. Yeah, let's go for that. And then I might have a square greeting down here. So I'm going to go for the glue. Go for gold. Found it, page 8088. But aren't the dies gorgeous? You'll all have to get your catalogues out now and have a look. Anybody watching who doesn't have a catalogue, doesn't have a demonstrator, doesn't know what I'm talking about, get in touch. Yeah, I'd love to grab a catalogue out to you. Just pop me a comment below. Right, so I'm just going to stick this on. This has got a square edge here already, so I'm going to try and line that square edge up. And line that up with the top of my page. I'm just going to pick it up just because it's a bit easier for me to see what I'm doing. Yep, we're all straight. Have I got a picture of the heron set? I'll show you in a minute, Mary. Yeah, let me stick this one down and I will grab my catalogue because I'm allowed to now. It always feels a bit odd at new catalogue time because it's like, oh, I can't show you, but we can. And I'll show you the heron set. I've even sketched out a couple of designs of what I think I want to do with it. So I don't know if anyone else does that when they're card making. I quite often sketch a design out. Kind of, it's a bit of a transition between what's in my head and what's going to come out on card. Right, there we go. So we'll stick these down and then I'll just trim off those edges. So again, just flipping it over, just using the cardstock as a guide, just to trim those off there. These little flutterbies. Have I got the honeybee home set? I have got the honeybee home set. Can I do a session on it? Oh, because you've got that one coming, Katie, haven't you, for the class? I probably can. Yes. I'm going to say yes. And that'll set me a challenge because it's not one I've used much. So let me show you the heron set quickly because I know you're all intrigued. Page 88. It's this one. You want the honeybee home set? Okay, I'll do a honeybee home one. Popular demand. So really nice sentiment fonts, I thought, for this one. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you. You're in my thoughts today. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. And then I don't know if you can see the dies. I might have to switch to page 164. That might be better. There's the dies. So you get two nice kind of banners. And then you get quite a lot of kind of grasses and things like that, which I really don't have an awful lot of. I really don't have many grasses. And then this one here is going to create like a marshy background. Quite often I won't buy dies if they're just going to cut out the stamp set because I think, well, I can fussy cut it. But this one had enough other bits in there for me as well. Yes, Anne-Marie, don't order things twice again. Anne-Marie's got a nasty habit of doing that. It looks like a good one, doesn't it, Mary? So I'm just going to stick this onto here. Then we'll get some gems on. Then I will go and grab my blocks quickly because we're going to do some heat embossing on black. So let's grab some glue, stick this down. Sometimes I struggle to make what I would call kind of simple cards, but I think these are really, really as simple as you can kind of get. They're one layer. Well, the sentiment might be another layer, but there's no real kind of backgrounds or anything like that, but just really, really kind of subtle and beautiful. I am quite lucky. I have got quite a good memory, even though I struggled a couple of times today trying to remember names. I've got quite a good memory for what I've ordered, and I've never ordered anything twice. Touch wood. I'm gonna go and do it now, aren't I? So a couple of gems. Oh, decisions. Let's go for one there as well, and then I might pop a few more on after I've done. What about the other poor butterfly? So he hasn't put it off. What I'm thinking is I might get a square greeting and I might pop him just kind of on the greeting, if that makes sense. Because he's beautiful, isn't it? It does need it. But I want to figure out what sentiment I want first. So I'll be 2 secs. I'm going to go and grab some blocks. And then what we thought was, I love, there's a die from the Pretty Pillow Box dies, which you might not have seen. So this Pretty Pillow Box dies. He went to join his friends on the other card. It just looks right just there, doesn't it? So I'm not entirely sure where this is going yet, but we'll wait and see. And it's this die. So these are the pretty pillar box. It's got some gorgeous flowers in it, and this makes a lovely little pillow box, for want of a better word. But it's got this one here. That's really pretty as well. I think it might just be a bit too big. That might be okay. We'll see. We'll see. So that's an option. But this one's gorgeous. So I'm going to cut one of those. And then I was thinking just a square from the Stylish Shapes. This is a new set of dies which have been a lot of use already. So we've got this little square here, so I might find a sentiment that will, and you've got circles, squares, they're all stitched as well, double stitched, so on the outside and on the inside. I know, Lisa, honestly, I went through my dies the other day and had a bit of a clear out so I could see what I had left. And I was quite surprised, and I had a good look in some of them. I thought, oh, there's some really actually nice kind of shapes in some of those. So square-wise, I've got Sending You Lots of Love. That's from the Dahlia Days. Or there is Live Life in Full Bloom from the Flowering Rain Boots. Well, I think I'm going to go for Sending You Lots of Love for the square one. I'm just looking. And then the other one that I was going to use was I can't find the stamp set. Hang on. It might come to me in a minute. I might have it out already. So let's go for this one. So Sending You Lots of Love. Just check it's the right size before you cut. Yeah, and that's going to give us plenty of room, I think, to put our butterfly on as well. So I'll cut a little piece of black cardstock. Put this up there. Grab my little mini. I wonder if I took that stamp set to class the other day. No, here it is. I knew I'd find it. So Celebrating You. This has got some really, really nice sentiments on it, and I love this one, Just For You. So I might do that because I'm on a bit of a roll with that one at the moment. Right, come on. Okay, so I've got some white embossing powder. I think that's the white one. Yeah. And I know they don't, Stampin' Up! Don't sell this anymore, but I think it's invaluable. Just my anti-static pad. Stamp this with Versamark. Just read one of those sentiments as you are inedible. You are inedible. That would be a good one, wouldn't it, Mary? You could even probably get away with a smaller square with this, but I think this is about the right size. So just pop that into the embossing powder. Plug in my heat gun. Excuse the noise. That's just going to go on dimensionals because I can't resist. Got to have a bit of dimension, haven't we? Okay. And I've got eyes on the butterfly. I thought I'd lost him, but no, I've got eyes on. And if we pop that there, then I'm hoping that we can just get our little butterfly on the edge there. He might need a tiny little dimensional just under his wing. Got some kind of offcuts here. Which you can just kind of poke underneath. A little bit of glue. And then we can just have him fluttering off our sentiment. So that's number one. I'll show you them both. I'm getting a bit cramped here. My stuff is invading me. And then we'll bring this one back in. Cut a little piece of black card again with this pretty one. This is stitched as well, so it's gorgeous. There's I don't know if you've seen it, Mary. I'm just thinking of you, and you are inedible. There's a couple of stamp sets, greeting sets in the catalogue, which are a little bit unconventional, let's say. A bit funny greetings. I thought they'd be right up your street. So isn't this pretty? Oh, you're very welcome, Anita. My absolute pleasure. So we'll just heat emboss this with a greeting. I've just got to make a decision now, and I'm struggling. Very much struggling. I might go for this one. Shaded Summer. Love you, friend. I've got another batch of cards to go out. But there's just so many greetings out there. Let's try and get this straight. That's kind of straight. That'll do. Yeah, so the one I used on the other card was I Think You're Wonderful, and that's from a retired set, but I don't think it matters for sentiments. Okay. Oh, right. A little bit of I've warped my grid paper now, but a couple of dimensionals on the back of this one. They look really bright and cheery, I think, these two. Certainly in real life. I hope that's coming across on camera as well. So there we go. We'll just pop that on like that. Cover up my mess. There's our two cards. So just a little bit of watercolour pencils, blender pen, and fussy cutting, paper snips. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Louise. Well, I'm glad you like them. And thank you so much for joining me. It means the absolute world to me that you guys pop on and spend your evening crafting with me. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. So thank you. Thanks, Eloise. Yeah, really, really appreciate all your company. I will be back next Friday. Probably not with the Honeybee Home next week, guys, because I'm working long days Monday through Friday. So if I can come up with some stuff over the weekend, then we might do. But if not, I'll definitely keep that one in the back of my neck and keep prodding me if we don't do it. So I'll definitely do something with the Honeybee Home bundle. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, everyone who's watched. Don't forget that there is the Fab joining offer at the moment. So you can see the details below. Stampin' Up! I've got a fabulous joining offer. If you get interested in getting your hands on some craft stuff, you can pop in a joining offer at the moment. It's £99. You get £130 worth of product for free. And you get 5 ink pads, a whole load of in colour cardstock, in colour papers and grid papers. So you're getting a whole bundle. So shout out if you're interested in any of that. Thanks, Cheryl. You made it. Thank you. And I'll be back next Thursday. And you might see me in between. So if my order arrives tomorrow, I will pop on and do an impromptu YouTube live. Either YouTube live or a Facebook live, actually. But I'll let you know where we'll be and show you my goodies. Take care. Thanks ever so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And if I don't see you before, have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.